20 years passed. The world outside changed. Buildings grew taller. People moved faster. But inside prison walls, time moved slowly. Sarah's hair turned gray. Her hands became weaker. Her eyes carried many nights of pain. Every morning she woke up before sunrise. Same routine, same walls, same silence. People in prison called her quiet. Some thought she was guilty. Some did not care. Sarah never explained herself. She believed truth had its own time. At night, she thought about the children. She wondered if they were safe, if they were hungry, if they remembered her. She whispered their names like prayers. Daniel, Lily, Max, Mia. Outside prison, those names were no longer children. Daniel grew into a serious man. He studied hard. He asked many questions. One question never left him. Why was Aunt Sarah punished so easily? Lily became quiet but strong. She worked with people who had no voice. She remembered how no one listened to Sarah Nax. And Mia grew up differently. Max was angry at the world. Mia believed in fixing it. They were separated after Sarah's arrest, but they found each other again years later when they reunited. They spoke about only one thing, her. She didn't deserve that, Max said. We owe her everything, Mia replied. They began searching old records, old news, old witnesses. Doors closed. People ignored them. Let the past stay buried, they were told. But they refused. Daniel became a lawyer, not for money, not for fame, for justice. Lily worked with journalists. She learned how stories could change minds. One night, Lily found something strange. An old article mentioned another suspect. Name never followed. Why? Daniel reopened the case file. Evidence was missing. Statements were unclear. Something felt wrong. Meanwhile, Sarah fell sick. She collapsed in the prison yard one morning. Doctors said her body was tired, very tired. She lay on her bed that night. She's staring at the ceiling. She thought, maybe I will die. Here, outside. The children worked faster. Max found an old man who lived near the store. The man was scared at first. Then he spoke. I saw someone else that night, he said, but no one asked me. That sentence changed everything. Daniel pushed the case forward. Lily published the story. The truth began to shake. People started asking questions inside prison. Sarah was called to the office. You may get a review. They said Sarah did not. React Hope was dangerous. Weeks later, a letter arrived. Daniel's name was written on it. Sarah's hands trembled. She read slowly. We are fighting for you. Tears fell on the paper for the first time in 20 years. Sarah allowed herself to believe. Outside, the courtroom opened again. This time, people listened. This time, the truth was louder than lies. And this time, justice was walking toward the door. Sarah once walked through and changed the courtroom was full. People whispered. Cameras waited. Everyone wanted answers. Sarah walked in slowly. Her steps were weak, but her back was straight. 20 years in prison had changed her face, but not her dignity. She sat quietly. Across the room, 4 adults stood together. Daniel, Lily, Max, Mia. Their eyes never left her. The judge entered. The room fell silent. Daniel stood up. Your Honor, he said, we are here because an innocent woman lost 20 years of her life. The prosecutor looked confident. The case was closed, he said. The sentence was fair. Daniel opened a folder, then explained this. He showed a missing report. A witness never called. A suspect never followed. Gasps filled the room. Lily was called to speak. She did not cry. She spoke clearly. My mother by choice saved my life. She taught us right and wrong. She could never harm anyone. The judge listened carefully. Then Max took the stand. His voice shook. "I was there that night," he said. "We were near the store. But we did not commit the crime." The room froze. Mia stepped forward next. She held an old photo. "This man did," she said. The photo showed a face. A man known in the area. A criminal with many charges. The old witness entered the courtroom. "I saw him running," the man said, not the woman. The judge closed his eyes. The truth was clear now. The prosecutor looked down. After a long silence, the judge spoke. "Sarah, please stand." Sarah stood slowly. Her hands trembled. "This court finds you not guilty." The words fell like rain. After a long drought, people clapped. Some cried. Sarah did not move. She looked confused. Daniel rushed to her. "It's over," he whispered. Tears streamed down her face. The judge spoke again. "You are free." The gavel struck. Chains were removed. Sarah walked out. Outside, sunlight touched her face. She stopped. She had forgotten. How warm it felt. The children hugged her tightly. She broke down. "I thought I was forgotten," she said. "We never forgot." Lily replied. That day, the truth won, but the scars remained. Justice came late, but it came. Freedom felt strange. Sarah stood outside the prison gates, holding a small bag. That was all she owned after 20 years. The sky looked bigger. The air felt different. Daniel gently held her arm. "Take your time," he said. She nodded slowly. The world had moved on without her. Cars were faster. Phones were smarter. People walked without looking at each other. Sarah felt lost. They took her to a quiet place. Not a big house, not something fancy, just a simple home with warm light. "This is yours," Mia said. Sarah shook her head. "I don't need much," she replied. "I just want peace." That night, Sarah could not sleep. Not because of fear, but because of silence. No prison noise. No guards. No locked doors. Only freedom. In the morning, she sat at the table. Daniel placed tea in front of her, just like old times. She smiled. Days passed. Sarah learned the new world slowly. She learned how to use a phone. She learned how to cross busy streets. But some things never changed. She still woke up early. She still helped others without being asked. People started visiting her. Some came to say sorry. Some came to say thank you. A young woman once asked her, "How did you survive?" Sarah thought for a moment. "I remembered why I helped," she said, "and I held on to that." One evening, they all sat together. The 4 children, now adults, looked at her. "You gave us everything," Max said, "and you lost everything." Sarah shook her head. "I didn't lose," she said softly. "I planted something." Tears filled their eyes. The story spread. People talked about injustice, about kindness, about a woman who paid a high price for love. But Sarah did not like attention. She only wanted one thing: to live quietly. One day, Sarah visited the old street. The house was gone. The trash area was gone, but memories remained. She closed her eyes. She heard the phone ringing again, the desperate call. She whispered, "I would do it again." Because that call gave her pain, but it also gave her purpose. The children walked beside her. They were no longer broken. They were strong, and they were proof. Proof that kindness does not die in prison. Proof that love can wait for justice. Proof that one good act can echo for decades. Sarah's life was not perfect, but it was meaningful. And in the end, that mattered more than time lost. Final lesson. Sometimes helping others will cost you everything, but sometimes it gives the world back. It's humanity, and that is worth any sentence. Days turned into weeks. Sarah's small house no longer felt empty. It felt alive. Every morning, the children woke up early. They cleaned the floor without being asked. They folded blankets carefully. They were afraid kindness might be temporary. Sarah noticed everything. She noticed how Daniel always counted food before eating. She noticed how Lily jumped at loud sounds. She noticed how Max and Mia slept holding hands. These were not habits. These were scars. Sarah wanted to send them to school. But school needed papers. Papers needed parents. Parents needed answers she did not have, so she taught them at home. She taught letters using old newspapers. She taught numbers by counting spoons. She taught lessons through stories. Always tell the truth, she said one day, even when truth hurts. Daniel listened closely. One afternoon, Sarah went out to look for extra work. She left the children alone for 1 hour. That 1 hour changed everything. A knock came at the door. Lily froze. Daniel walked slowly and opened it just a little. 2 men stood outside. "We are looking for kids," one said. They were reported missing. Daniel's heart raced. "We don't know anything," he replied and shut the door. Minutes later, loud knocking returned. Sarah came home to see police cars. Neighbors stood watching. Whispers filled the air. "Those kids don't belong here. She's hiding something." Sarah stood tall, but her hands shook. The police asked questions. "Where are the children from? Do you have legal permission?" Sarah answered honestly. "They had nowhere to go," she said. "I gave them shelter." The officer looked serious. "You can get in trouble for this." That night, the children cried. "We knew this would happen," Max said. "Good things never last." Sarah held them close. "Listen to me," she said. "I chose you, and I don't regret it." But inside, fear grew. Money became less. Food became less. Sleep became less. Sarah skipped meals again. One night, she fainted in the kitchen. Daniel found her on the floor. He shook her gently. "Aunt Sarah, wake up." She opened her eyes slowly. She saw fear on his face. That was the moment she understood. Love was no longer just kindness. Love was a responsibility. The next day, Sarah collapsed at work. She lost her job. No job. No income. For children, people said, "We warned her." Sarah sat alone that night, holding a letter of termination. The children watched quietly. Daniel stood up. "We can work," he said. "We can help." Sarah shook her head. "You are children," she said. "Your job is to dream." She sold her only ring. She sold her old radio. She bought food, but the pressure never stopped. One evening, a loud argument broke out outside. Someone shouted that children were stealing. Police came again. This time, they searched the house. They found nothing, but suspicion stayed. The officer warned her, "This is your last chance." That night, Sarah sat in silence. She looked at the ceiling. She asked herself, "Is love worth losing everything?" Her answer came when Lily quietly placed her head on Sarah's lap. "You saved us," Lily whispered. "Even if the world is angry, we are thankful." Tears fell from Sarah's eyes. She hugged her tightly. What Sarah didn't know was this: every act of love was being written into a future she could not see, a future where love would be tested in the hardest way, because soon love would turn into accusation. An accusation would turn into a sentence. The day started like any other. Sarah woke up early. She made weak tea. She cut bread into small pieces so it would last longer. The children were quiet that morning. Daniel looked worried. Lily kept rubbing her hands. Max and Mia did not laugh. Something felt wrong. Sarah kissed their heads. "Be good," she said. I'll be back soon. She stepped outside. She never came back the same. That afternoon, loud sirens filled the street. Police cars stopped in front of Sarah's house. Neighbors came out. Watching closely, 2 officers knocked hard on the door. Daniel opened it slowly. "We are looking for Sarah," one officer said. "She's not home." Daniel replied. Minutes later, Sarah was brought back in a police car. Her hands were in handcuffs. The children ran toward her. "What happened?" Lily cried. Sarah did not answer. Her face was pale. Her eyes were empty. A crime had happened nearby. A store owner was found badly hurt. Money was stolen. A witness said, "I saw kids running from the area." That was enough. The police needed someone. To blame, Sarah was taken to the station. The children were left behind. That night was the longest night of their lives. At the station, Sarah sat alone. The room was cold. The light was harsh. Questions came again and again. "Why were you near the store? Why are homeless kids living with you?" Sarah told the truth. "I was working," she said. "I took the kids in to protect them. The officer did not." "Believe her. You are hiding something." He said. Hours passed. No lawyer came. No one spoke for her. The next morning, Sarah was charged. The news spread fast. Black woman arrested with street kids. The headline said. The children read the words. They felt sick. Social services came. The children were taken away. As they left the house, Lily screamed. Aunt Sarah didn't do anything. The door closed. The house became silent again. In court, Sarah stood alone. She wore old clothes. Her hands shook. The judge looked at her without emotion. The witness spoke. The evidence was weak, but weak evidence was enough. The children were not allowed to speak. They are minors. The court said. Sarah looked back. The benches were empty. She felt smaller than ever. The judge spoke slowly. You are guilty. Sarah did not cry. She only closed her eyes. Then came the words that crushed her soul. Life sentence. A heavy silence filled the room. Sarah felt the ground disappear beneath her. She thought of the children. Who will protect them now? As guards took her away, she whispered, I'm sorry. Years would pass before anyone listened. Years before the truth tried to breathe. That day, love was punished. Kindness was judged. And Sarah became a prisoner of a crime she did not commit. The night was cold and very quiet. A black woman named Sarah sat alone inside her small house. The walls were old. The roof leaked when it rained. The light was weak and flickering. She had lived alone for many years. People in the area knew her. But no one truly cared. They called her poor. They called her unlucky. Some even called her strange. Sarah did not answer back. She believed silence was stronger than words. That night, she was tired. Her body hurt from working all day cleaning offices. Her hands were rough. Her feet ached. She was about to sleep when something happened. Her old phone started ringing. The sound was loud in the quiet house. Sarah looked at the phone in surprise. No one ever called her. She hesitated for a moment. Then she picked it up. Hello? She said softly. At first, there was only breathing on the other side. Then a small voice spoke. Please. Help us. Sarah's heart skipped a beat. Who is this? She asked. The voice was shaking. It sounded like a child. We are hungry, the voice said. We have no place to go. Sarah stood up slowly. Her hands began to shake. Where are you? She asked. The child explained they were near the old trash area behind the closed store. For children, no parents, no food. No shelter. Sarah closed her eyes. She knew that place. It was dangerous at night. People avoided it. The call ended suddenly. Sarah stared at the phone. She could hear her own breathing now. Her mind was full of fear. She thought, this is not my problem. She thought, I have nothing to give. But her heart felt heavy. She remembered her own childhood. She remembered sleeping hungry. She remembered begging for help and hearing no answer. Sarah put on her old coat. It was thin and torn. She opened the door. The cold air hit her face. She stopped. People always told her, mind your own business. Helping strangers only brings trouble. Her hand stayed on the door handle. Then she whispered, I can't ignore this. She stepped outside. The street was empty. The lights were broken. The wind howled as she walked. Fear followed her like a shadow. What if it was a trap? What if she got hurt? Still, she kept going. When she reached the trash area, she saw them. 4 small figures sitting close together to boys. 2 girls, their clothes were dirty. Their faces were pale. The youngest was crying softly. The oldest tried to look strong, but his eyes showed pain. Sarah felt tears fill her eyes. She moved closer. The children looked up in fear. Please don't hurt us. One of them said. Sarah shook her head. I am not here to hurt you. She said gently, I got your call. The children looked surprised. You came. The oldest asked. Sarah nodded. She took off her coat and wrapped it around the smallest child. You must be freezing, she said. One girl whispered, we thought no one would come. Those words broke Sarah's heart. She looked at their thin faces and empty eyes. She made a choice in that moment. Come with me, she said. My house is small, but it is warm. The children looked at each other. They were scared. Will we be safe? One asked. Sarah looked at them and answered honestly. I cannot promise a perfect life, she said, but I promise you care. After a long pause, the oldest child stood up. We trust you, he said. They followed her quietly as they walked toward her house. Sarah did not know this was the moment that would change everything. She did not know this decision would lead her to a pain, loss, and sacrifice. She did not know that one day these same children would hold the power to change her fate. That night started with a phone call, a desperate call, and it became the first step toward a life sentence no one could imagine. The house felt different that night. Sarah opened the door slowly and let the children step inside. The room was small. One old sofa, a broken table, a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling. The children stood near the door, silent and unsure. They had seen many places before. None of them felt safe. Sarah noticed how their eyes moved around the room, not judging, just hoping. You can sit, she said softly. They sat on the floor, because they did not know if the sofa was allowed. That moment touched Sarah deeply. She went to the kitchen. It was not really a kitchen, just a corner with a small stove. She looked inside the cabinet. 1 packet of rice, half a loaf of bread, some water. She took a deep breath. It will be enough, she whispered to herself. While the food cooked, Sarah watched the children. The oldest boy kept his back straight. He was trying to act like an adult. One girl hugged her knees tightly. She looked at the floor. The twins stayed close together. Holding hands, Sarah placed the plates in front of them. Eat slowly, she said. There is no rush. At first, they hesitated. Then hunger won. They ate quietly, like they were afraid the food might disappear. Sarah sat and watched. She did not eat. The oldest boy noticed. Aren't you hungry? He asked. Sarah smiled. I already ate, she lied. After the food, the children looked tired. Their eyes were heavy. Sarah gave them old blankets. She spread them on the floor. I'm sorry, she said. I don't have beds. The girl shook her head quickly. This is more than enough, she said. Those words stayed in Sarah's heart. That night, Sarah could not sleep. She sat on the sofa, listening. She listened to breathing, to soft movement, to small sounds of life in her house. For the first time in years, she was not alone, but fear slowly entered her mind. What if they get sick? What if someone reports me? What if I cannot feed them? She looked at her hands. They were tired hands, old hands. She asked herself a hard question. Why did I do this? The answer came quietly, because no one helped me. Morning came early. The children woke up before Sarah. They stood quietly, unsure what to do. When Sarah opened her eyes, she saw 4 faces looking at her. "Good morning," she said. They smiled. That simple smile felt like sunlight. She gave them water to wash their faces. She combed the youngest girl's hair with her fingers. "What are your names?" she asked. The oldest boy spoke first. "My name is Daniel." "I'm Lily," said the quiet girl. The twins spoke together. "We are Max and Mia." Sarah nodded. Slowly, "I'm Sarah," she said. "You can call me Aunt Sarah if you want." Their eyes widened. No one had ever offered them family words before. The day passed slowly. Sarah did not go to work. She stayed home. She watched the children talk, laugh a little, and rest. But outside, the world did not stop. A neighbor saw the children enter her house. Someone whispered. Someone judged. That evening, a woman knocked on Sarah's door. "I saw kids here," the woman said coldly. "You know this can bring trouble." Sarah stood straight. "They needed help," she replied. The woman shook her head. "Helping them will destroy your life." The door closed. Sarah leaned against it. Her heart was beating fast. She looked at the children. Sitting quietly, they had heard everything. Daniel stood up. "We can leave," he said. "We don't want to cause problems." Sarah walked to him and knelt down. "You are not a problem," she said firmly. "You are human." Tears filled Lily's eyes. That night, Sarah made another decision. She would protect them, even if it cost her everything. She did not know that this small house was slowly becoming a battlefield between kindness and fate was watching closely.